Two unemployed actors. Two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
We have a huge show today. I've got an audition update on the play we talked about last week. 3 union events, 2 with acting coaches, 1 with a writer. And speaking of writing, I'm attending a couple of events at the Sydney Writers' Festival, which is on this week as well.
Very cool.
Lots to talk about. And Sammy,
Not as much to talk about.
to talk about what I'm talking about with me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk. Listen,
You will butt in when you feel it's
I will
appropriate,
butt in
as you normally do.
and I'll add some stuff if you get on top of it and say, "Oh, I have something to say."
Interrupt me more than Fred.
Yeah, I'll do that. But just actually, I auditioned for a feature film concept trailer
Okay.
through StarNow, and she really liked it. The casting director
Okay.
/ producer.
What sort of genre is the movie? What's
Sci-fi. It would be
Oh,
sci-fi.
see, you love sci-fi.
Yeah, it would be very cool to do, and the trailer seems cool. But
Okay.
they said, if you're good enough in this role, you'd surely play the lead in the actual
Yeah,
feature.
and the
So
actual
I'm very
makes
excited.
sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
That's
it's paid,
great.
so that's cool
That's
as well.
good.
Double bonus. But yeah, that's about it, and just trying to still get out of my hospitality job. But that's
Get out of survival job.
Yeah,
Into
exactly.
the passion.
Into the passion. But Max, what have you got?
Well, we
I will
talked
butt in.
about. You know what we talked about last week? Nomadland.
Yes.
What an Oscar sweep! Best Picture. Best Actress, Frances McDormand. Best Director, Chloe Zhao.
Yep.
You have to go see that in the
I know,
cinema
I haven't seen it yet.
before it leaves the cinemas. So I talked about an audition last week for a play, and I know because there was like this. I've just finished Lipstick, bit of a lull, and I've got into organising, the website, CVs, all the profiles, that sort of stuff. And then this play turns up that was really cool, Australian play called Spooks. So I sent my self-tape, I recorded it. I did the bit from The Odd Couple that I normally do, that I did for work for Lipstick.
Yep.
Being from a play and a comedy. And I got a callback, which is great. So sometime next week, I'll actually be in the theatre. I actually talking to the director just before we went to air here. I said, look, I'm available at these times, but pretty flexible. I live across the road from the theatre, so should
Very
be fine.
nice.
We could organise something, accommodate that, because it's not just the director, it's the other readers, etc. So that's coming up. I'm passionate about that, excited about that. That's a nice, strong maybe. And we cling to strong maybes in this game.
Yeah, 100%. Cling to those strong maybes.
They keep us surviving. So the MEAA events. So the unions organise some events. There's a mix of in-person and live stream at the moment, with more on live stream, because I know they pivoted quite strongly to live streaming when COVID hit.
Yep.
And fortunately had already done a few as a test
Okay.
to sort of see if that's a way to reach more members across the country without those just in Sydney or Melbourne offices, which is great just as well, because it certainly makes it easier now. There's a session with Miranda Harcourt, who is an acting coach, an experienced actor herself, talking about focusing on connection and protection. So how you can prepare your work to be able to safely enter and exit the role.
Connection and protection.
Because when you think about, you get... look, I've been lucky. The roles I've had this year are all...
Sounds like a condom
corporate
slogan.
It could be.
It could be
Connection and
anything.
protection.
There we
You
go.
want to connect when you're protected.
Always.
Oh, there's
Go
a first
on.
sponsor. But yeah, no, when you think... I've been sort of lucky this year. It's been corporate stuff and comedies, like the play, where
Yeah.
I haven't really had to be concerned about how I'm coming out of character. But yeah, let's say that the next play I do happens to be a drama, and there happens to be very full-on scenes in that play. To be able to get in and out safely, I've got my little tactics. I know music works well for me, but it's like warm-ups. There's so many different ways to approach it. I'm happy to lean on an expert of many years and try and practice a few. So that's this Thursday, I think. No, this Friday. and next Friday with
Very
Miranda
cool.
Harcourt.
Very cool.
And another one this week as well on warm-ups, funnily enough, voice warm-ups with Natasha McNamara, who's an acting coach, another one, but also a NIDA and WAPA graduate. So what's better than graduating from one? Graduating from both of them. I'm not a singer, so you're a singer, so you probably know more about warming up your voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a voiceover artist. It's a bit
true, which
similar.
is why I should know more about it. But it'd be interesting to, because I think she talked about working on different ways to keep your voice warm just every day. That are great habits to get into.
Yep.
So that it's even easier when you do need to use your voice for work.
100%.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to sharing my insights. Hopefully, if it resonates with me, it'll resonate with our listeners.
True.
So
we hope that with most episodes.
With most episodes, actually. Good point, Sam. Hello. Anybody?
Hello. It's only us anyway, so whatever resonates with us, so it works.
Fred likes it.
Do you like it?
Yeah. So Sydney Writers Festival's on, and throughout the week there are so many events, from panel discussions, interviews with authors, workshops on writing, you name it. It's all a part of this festival. And fortunately with COVID, we're all able to get together at Carriage Works here in, I think it's actually Everley, which is the next suburb. So it's
very close there.
It's a 10-minute walk away. So I've got two events. One I'm really looking forward to, okay? On Sunday, I get to have a chat, because it's a bit of a Q&A, but between George Miller...
Very cool.
...and Tim Minchin.
Stop it.
I know. There might be tickets still available. $35.
Yeah, I may want to go, because Jess is doing a screenwriting course at uni.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is she doing screenwriting? Oh, interesting.
Well, it's just one of her subjects.
Wow.
She's doing arts.
Okay.
But one of her subjects she chose was screenwriting.
Well,
and she's just
there's
written a short
so
film,
many
actually.
sessions. There's so many sessions on that might be a benefit. But
when is it on again?
It's now. It started yesterday, and it goes for the week. Lots of sessions throughout the day and the evening. I think it concludes on Sunday. So, midday, I'm sitting down with George Miller, Tim Minchin. George Miller, so for those that don't know, director of Mad Max.
Fury Road.
Yep. It's part of the Sydney Writers Festival. He's got 3 films that were in the top 10 of Australian films in terms of box office take.
Wow.
So out of the top 10 that made the most money in Australia of Australian films, 3. Babe, Mad Max 2, and Happy Feet. They're pretty different. It's not like he's got one.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
two
pretty
have to do with
but
animals.
yeah, and 2 films voted best action movies of all time, which is pretty good. Mad Max 2 and Die Hard.
Did he do Die Hard?
He did indeed. And the most nominated and most awarded Australian film ever at the Oscars, which was Fury Road.
I remember watching that one.
Not a bad CV.
It was like almost like a little competition between Fury Road and The Revenant.
Well, I liked The Revenant. Fury Road, I struggled. It was kind of like just like this road rage. They went from one end of Parramatta Road all the way down the other end, said 3 things, and then went all the way back again. So anyway, we know the next one's been announced because it happened a few days ago.
Yes.
$350 million, biggest
Chris
Australian
Hemsworth.
ever. Chris Hemsworth. So that should be interesting. And it's a prequel, which they like to do these days when you're trying to maximize a franchise.
Yeah.
A prequel, and maybe I'll ask him who's doing the casting. How's that for a question?
That is a good question.
As an actor in between projects,
I
that's
just
a very
wonder
pertinent
who's
question.
Casting. Yeah.
I've got a question for Mr. Miller.
Hopefully it's not a wasted question. Hopefully he's not like, I can't reveal that. Next question.
He's currently in Sydney, not just to talk to people on Sunday. He's currently filming 3,000 Years of Longing in Sydney.
Who's that with? Do
I
you know
don't know. I have no idea. I literally just read that.
He also lives here, doesn't he? Generally.
Well, yeah.
He's Aussie.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
I mean, when you're that, you've got that much of a CV, the work comes to you.
It's very, very true.
You don't have to hustle quite as
hey,
much.
Hey, George, we want you to shoot this, direct this film in Alaska.
Yeah.
Nah, make it here.
Yeah, we'll just
move it here.
Some snow in the Queensland soundstage. It's fine.
Yep.
And also, so I said I'm going to 2 sessions.
Yes.
The second one, not so much related to the acting in me, but certainly fuel for stories. There's a lawyer, Bernard Collaery, who is an Australian lawyer. He's has the potential for jail time for allegedly helping his former, allegedly is a big strong word, everyone, allegedly helping his former client, who, as an intelligence agent, an intelligence officer, we'll call witness K, who exposed Australia's bugging of the East Timorese government to gain upper hand during the oil and gas negotiations. Something that happened quite some time ago came to light a few years ago, and he is a part of helping this person who is looking at whistleblower, coming forward under whistleblower protection. Well, there's legislation in Australia that help protect whistleblowers.
Yep.
But does that help protect someone who's governed by the Official Secrets Act and non-disclosure agreements, that sort of stuff, as an intelligence officer for Australia?
Okay.
So that's an interesting conversation between him and Julian Burnside QC, who's a fantastic Melbourne barrister. He specialises in commercial litigation. For those of you just having a micro sleep, just one more thing. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to the law and this sort of stuff. So I think there's plenty in there for some great stories. And it does relate to Bernard Collaery, who written a book on the subject, which would be quite interesting, I imagine.
So this is part of the festival as well?
It's part of the festival.
Okay, right.
Sydney Writers Festival.
Yeah,
He's a writer.
It doesn't have to do with the...
And that just goes to show there's so many different events available. There's on interviewing Andrew Denton about interviewing. So he is one of the best. He's one of the best people I've seen as an interviewer, because the way he can get someone to give information that they wouldn't normally give other people. And one of his key strengths is not saying anything at all.
Just let them talk.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And the occasional sort of prod to shape the direction of the discussion.
Yeah, right.
Because I've seen some people interview and they're sort of almost finishing the other person's sentence in a way, and really sort of... And almost they're talking more than the person they're interviewing. That's probably the worst case.
Yeah.
I know in terms of negotiation training, after 20 years of corporate negotiations, the power of silence is powerful when as a negotiation tactic. But not to bore you with that, but that would be quite interesting.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so there's lots happening. So I've sort of gone from the play, big projects finished, into update the website, tick that, CVs, tick that, all the online platforms, recut showreels, all that stuff, because you've got to make hay while the sun shines, right? And you keep busy, it's constructive, it's adding value, and then boom, all of a sudden, diary's filling up.
I'm going to do one of my buttons.
Go for it.
Speaking of showreels, I've got it kind of up on StarNow, and I will put it on Casting Network soon. So I've actually completed what I've got so far.
Would you send me the link so we can put it on to Unemployed? Not yet?
No, I can. I want to put in American Self-Tape in it.
Okay.
I just put up everything else at this point because I did need to send it through for a feature film audition. They wanted to see that, so I kind of did a kind of rough one. Yeah. It's 4 minutes. Yeah, it's okay.
It's long.
It is long.
It's long.
But that can be my long one.
Indeed.
I'll make a short one.
Because you've got you have a drama show reel maybe, or like a more commercial show reel, and then you can have a drama one or self tape. Really, I mean, think of it as your agent's got a bank to send. Yeah. The show reel really shows your agent what you're capable of. Yeah. But if there's a drama role, they're not going to send something which is heavy on comedy.
No, you can have different ones. Have drama, have comedy, have American, have all that stuff.
That's great. I think from a commercial point of view, for me, I've got my generic acting show reel, which I noticed is very heavy on drama because that's against type that I've been playing, and is something you wouldn't see in my work. I'm conscious of that. That's why I did a separate one of comedy to send as a self-tape for my last audition. And I'm conscious of that because I had another piece of work drop, but I haven't included in the show reel because it's another one of me playing against type, which is almost the similar character of that's represented there.
Yeah, right.
So it's alcoholic, abusive guy, angry. It's like, well, I've already got that there. I don't need another one. So I'm looking for perhaps more comedy to sort of bolster that. And then I've got a presenting to camera one, which is me, you know, finder presenting to camera or corporate presenting to camera. I think the Mitre 10's in there as well.
Yeah, okay.
The power tools, trying not to hurt myself.
And actually,
so yeah, go on.
I've gone back to. I contacted Danielle Roff, who was my dialect coach for the general.
That's right. You
accent.
mentioned yes.
Yeah, so I went back to her, and I was so nervous, and so was she, because
Really?
like we were like,
Because
have
so
I
long.
improved? Have I gotten worse? Am I the same?
What's happened?
And thank God I'd improved, so that was good.
Well done.
So we're just kind of focusing now on minute details of
great.
different things, and I'm happy about that, and I'm going back to it tomorrow. I just think it's just. Obviously, just for me, it's getting more and more important to, I think for everyone, but like just in my own life, like to do more American self-tapes and more of that stuff. So to have, and I need the accent down pat. Like,
I mean, we can't ignore the fact that although we're passionate about Australian stories, we're Australian and we're here in Australia, it makes sense. We're not ignorant of the fact that there's just so many millions of dollars worth of American content being created in Australia right now. More so than usual because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
So conversely, it's suddenly very important to have an authentic representation, because we're obviously not authentically American, to be able to work at the moment. I think it's great.
It's been awesome, and I think it's important to do so. But anyway, I just wanted to shove that in there.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because normally, you know, you'd probably have that in the back of your pocket, you know, so that if you do end up in LA for whatever reason to audition or whatever, you've got strong American accent, general American. You've got Showreel, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it's her. I can have her as a reference.
Yeah.
You know, she's done
indeed
Hacksaw Ridge and stuff with Andrew Garfield, teaching him in an Aussie accent. You know, all this stuff. So it's cool. So yeah,
that's great.
I feel
it's
looked
just
after.
The world's come to us, so we don't have to sort of go.
We don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. So one more thing, so writing. So again, through the union, I'm leaning heavily on them at the moment, but I don't care. It's great as a resource with Miranda Harcourt and also with Natasha on the warm-ups. But a writing course. So it's a course that's specifically tailored for writing for actors by Chris Corbett, I think he's done over 50 hours of Australian television he's written for. Yeah, so the focus is on screenwriting, on helping actors. So we're not trained to, you know, we're not creative writers, and perhaps don't have that experience, but certainly creative. And everyone's got stories. Yep. It's just how you represent that. You know, what are some of the typical things that could go wrong when you're building a story? How do you hold an audience interest? You know, you might have the best idea in your mind and you can play it scene by scene, as we sometimes can as actors, but translating that onto a document that everyone's going to have a piece of, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, 100%. So,
I know that I have some unfinished scripts that I've tried to...
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking this might be the impetus. I've got a couple of stories up my sleeve, and I've been sort of writing bits and pieces, doing background on a couple of them. So I feel like this... Look, if anything, I think even if it doesn't propel me into completing what I've started from a screenwriting perspective, it'll be great to give me some extra insight as an actor, you know, analysing scripts and reading screenplays.
Yeah, give you more of an insight in that,
So I'm looking forward to it, though.
Good stuff.
It's by Zoom once a week for 5 weeks, and free, fortunately, thanks to our union membership. So
very cool.
It's a jam-packed few weeks.
Yeah, you're busy.
In a sound booth on Thursday, recording a corporate piece. I got a script which is like 2 pages of corporate speak, and I have to make it look like it's absolutely the most interesting thing that I've read. And then it'll lead to regular work where I can just sort of submit it from my home studio. But so it'll be good to actually, because it's been a while since I've been in a sound booth with audio engineers and a client who's actually sitting there to provide live feedback. I prefer that. It's like when you're in a room for an audition, you know, you get that live feedback.
Yeah, sure.
Rather than sending files back and forth. And I think that's great, certainly, to get the tone and everything so that I can pick it up from my own little home studio.
Yeah,
when
nice.
Fred's not barking in between the planes flying over Newtown. That's the plan.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. So there's lots happening. So make sure you keep listening over the next few weeks as we bring to life all this exciting stuff we've talked about.
Bringing it to life.
What's going to happen with my play? Not even I know how that's going to end. The audition
Tune
continues.
in next week.
Tune in next week.
Find out.
Some insights from all these courses and George Miller and Tim Minchin and
Yes,
more.
I'm very excited to hear about that.
It's going to be really interesting. So make sure you keep listening. Subscribe, follow us on social media, all that exciting stuff.
Do it all.
You're listening to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
You'll hear us next week. Bye.
See ya.
Two unemployed actors.